and this about you coming off the heels of the segment we talked, why can't anybody hit in the major leagues anymore? Rennie Stennett passed away yesterday. What was Rennie? 72 years old, former Pirate second baseman, the only player in Major League history to go 7 for 7 in a game.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a really good hitter. He had a terrible knee injury that ruined his career. I played Little League and Colt League and Pony League with his nephews, Carlos and Jose Stennett. Yeah, so that's sad. It's Rennie Stennett, part of the. I think he was part of the. He was the second baseman on the '71 World Championship. Bill King's with us. Bill, of course, the outstanding sports host on Nashville Sports Radio, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9. The king of college football talk. Bill, I guess I'll put you on the spot there because I just mentioned a name from when I think you might have been a baseball fan. Rennie Stennett. Did that name ring a bell?
It does. That's when I actually watched Major League Baseball. I haven't watched a Major League Baseball game in forever, but yes, I go back to you're a Pittsburgh guy. I go back to the '79 Pirates. Very vivid.
Yeah, so it is sad about Rennie. I was doing a thing a couple of segments ago about why can't anybody hit anymore in Major League Baseball. It's amazing, and it's different in the SEC. Bill, when you watch SEC baseball, you still have strikeouts and home runs and walks, but you have more hits than strikeouts. There's more strikeouts than base hits in Major League Baseball now, Bill, and it's going for the last 3 years. It's become unwatchable. That's not what we watch in the SEC. I see a really exciting game every time I watch a college baseball game. I think college baseball is more exciting than Major League Baseball, and Phil from 20 years ago right now is punching himself in the face saying that.
Yeah, and guys, by the way, Vanderbilt got some awful news. Carter Young, who is as slick a shortstop as there is. Defensively, they say he's the equivalent of Dansby Swanson right now. Doesn't have the same bat yet. Sliding into second last night in a Tuesday night game, dislocated his shoulder.
Oh, man. Wow.
That's a huge blow.
You're not kidding. I mean, an everyday starter to go down on a Tuesday night, it's not like anything was at stake, really, nor would you sit him for that reason. Wow, that's terrible. That's terrible. You feel for the kid. It's not like they've got, I mean, who knows what they've got behind him. Wow. So
second baseman moved to short. You know, everybody played short in high school, on that level, pretty much. But you lose as slick a shortstop as there is in the college game defensively, and you lose a significant bat.
Do you see that there are reports? Nothing's been confirmed yet by the NCAA, but I think sometime this afternoon it will be. For the organization that we always say never doing the right thing, it looks like they're going to be increasing attendance capacity for softball and for baseball postseason to 100%. So
that's awesome.
That's a game changer, and that's awesome. So we can finally say, hey, way to go, NCAA, right?
Yeah, I mean, occasionally they get it right. We don't notice that, which is probably somewhat unfair, but they mainly get things wrong. Now, I don't think as the SEC come back and corrected theirs, because the last thing we heard from them was 50%. I'm sure they'll correct it for Hoover, but I don't know if they've officially done that.
No, they haven't. You're right, Bill, and that thing starts on Tuesday. So there's still time, really, because the softball regionals start on Friday. So I think you're right. I think they will increase the attendance in Hoover. Might as well.
Need to.
I would think so.
Bill King joining us here on Halftime. Bill, I want to ask you one more thing about Razorback baseball. Then I got some football stuff I want to talk to you about. With this Razorback baseball team, in your estimation, just from what you've seen, which I know we don't talk – we talk SEC baseball, obviously, when we have you on. Do you think, as it stands right now, that it's get to the national championship series for this Razorback baseball team or bust, or is it get to the College World Series? What do you think the ceiling is for this team, or what is the expectation that you have on the outside looking in for this baseball team?
Oh, I think if they don't get to Omaha, it's a bust, and that's probably unfair. About the Vandy fans I talk to tell me they think Arkansas is the best team in the league, and it's the best league as we know. And so, yeah. I think the ceiling for them is the last team standing. That's what we're looking at here, and you never know once you get out there. A couple of years ago, Vanderbilt, one of their better teams, lost to Michigan at Vanderbilt on a walk-off against David Price, who was the number one guy in America, right?
Yep.
And by the way, the guy that walked it off for Michigan and eliminated Vanderbilt in one of the early games of the tournament came to camp to Vanderbilt prior, and Vanderbilt didn't want anything to do with it. and the guys finished their season. So it was a pretty good. I think it was whenever David Price played 10 years ago, whenever it was. But no, Arkansas guys. I got a question for you real quick. I know you're short here. Did we ever get to the bottom of what the conversation was after the Tennessee-Arkansas game between Vitello and Van Horn? Nobody's talking, right?
Yeah, Phil, you tackled that one.
Well, the coaches aren't divulging all the details, but just gleaning from what they did say. I think it had to do with some stuff that happened during the series that then eventually became recruiting spat. You offered one of our guys, you took a couple of our guys when you that kind of thing. I think that's what it's about.
Didn't Tony or somebody say something about, it probably wasn't a good time to bring it up, but it was about some past history or something.
Exactly.
I thought that's what.
Yeah, Tony's the one who said that was the wrong time to bring it up. So I think it's obvious that there's something in the way that they recruit against each other. But I agree with him that after a hard fought series like that ain't the time to do it. Not at all.
No, everybody. Vitello, not necessarily being negative, but he's an emotional guy.
Very much so. And I don't mean that in a negative way either. We saw him. Right. Bill, there were some moments because he's not now, but he was the third base coach at Arkansas, the top assistant always is. And there was just some moments I remember thinking to myself, it's like, how did he not get ejected right there? It's like, I could at least say like 3 or 4 moments. Like, how did he not get thrown out for that? He's really intense.
Bill, I want to transition over to football just for a moment. We broke the news yesterday that Arkansas versus Texas is going to be in prime time on ESPN on September 11th. And you're the king of college football. And I'm just curious, we got time to build this matchup up. We're still in May. We got several months before it gets here. Do you think that this Arkansas-Texas matchup can get back to the way it was in the Southwest Conference days?
Guys, one of my first memories, probably wasn't even in kindergarten, was the 69 Arkansas-Texas game, which is one of the most famous college games ever. And I remember sitting there. I remember where I was watching it on. That was all that was on TV, I guess, then. And it was a heck of a game, by the way. I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. We need to see Texas. I think I feel pretty good about what Arkansas can be this year. Sark's got to transition a new quarterback, and it's a program that's kind of lost its confidence through the years since 2009, let's say. But no, I think it's got it. We were talking about that a little bit this morning on the show. I think it has a chance. Absolutely.
Well, I just wondered, too, do you think, and I think Arkansas, and this is me just purely spitballing right now, but I feel like Arkansas, at least the athletic department, would be on board, maybe not for an every year, but maybe like an every other year, every 4 years or something, get Texas back regularly on the schedule. Because, there's just the notoriety of just Arkansas versus Texas from what you just mentioned. People remember that 69 game. Arkansas fans always remember the 64 game. All the classic matchups from the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Would you think Texas would go for that? Like maybe an every other year, every 4 years, some sort of matchup like that to kind of keep this rivalry fresh?
Probably not.
That's what I was thinking.
No, in Texas, probably not. They, that they probably feel like they've got a big enough mess. I was looking, guys, they're an underdog by like 7 points. FanDuel came out with their numbers. You guys probably looked at this. They're about a 7-point underdog right now against Iowa State.
That I had not seen. Interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun trying to get this matchup built up because and you look at that opening week. Opening weekend for college football is loaded, but Bill, that's the creme de la creme matchup. I think what we say yesterday, Phil, the only other matchup that week 2 was Oregon and Ohio State. I think is the only other matchup.
Well, the thing that Arkansas goes up against Washington, Michigan at the same time on ABC.
I think that's right.
Day.
So Bill, that's 2 of the top matchups that weekend. So they get a primetime slot, ESPN, and a good opportunity, I think, for Sam Pittman, like you just mentioned. I think we all have a good idea of where this football team can go in this next season. It's a prime opportunity to do it right there.
Bill, you said you kind of have a sense of what you might expect from Arkansas, and it's a few months before camp starts. What are those expectations in a nutshell?
I think they can be a middle of the Western Division Pac team, which is quite a lofty expectation. You get by Alabama and you get by A&M, and I think you can debate it out objectively how you stack them after that. I think the marketplace is wide open after that. I don't trust Auburn. I don't trust LSU right now. I know LSU's got better talent than Arkansas, but I still don't trust them. And Ole Miss has got to play some defense eventually, you would think. Mississippi State's down on personnel. Mike Leach will have a quarterback goes in all over the place. So I think that's a realistic possibility. I don't know that I would bet you a lot of money on it, but I think that's reasonable.
So let's end with this then. So you could be like Alabama, A&M, and then it's like not quite sure after that. Maybe Ole Miss, maybe LSU, maybe Arkansas fourth. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Well, if you ask me to just say base it on talent, then LSU's in there.
Mm-hmm.
LSU and A&M are probably neck and neck in talent. They're right there together in the 2 slot. But if we're just talking about trusting the outcome and the output when it's Coach O, and he's now 2 years from Joe Brady and Joe Burrow, you got to wonder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then it becomes about process, and we know our friend Ty would tell you to trust the process. Bill, we'll leave it at that. Appreciate you as always. Have a great week, and next week we'll be in Hoover. We'll talk about that.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Bill.
it.
You got it. And he did make a good point, too, about Hoover. You know, if the NCAA is going to open up the baseball and softball postseason, then you might as well open up the conference tournament, too. Let's get this thing going. If we're going to be 100% everywhere, let's be 100% everywhere. 877-377-6963 to wrap up our show in the next segment with Change My Mind. Get some interesting ideas here of some candles that I don't know if you need to be buying any of these candles.
Oh.
There's one specific candle from a specific actress that she named after a specific part that you need no part of, because apparently the thing explodes. We'll be right back.